All right, well, my name is Shari, and I will be talking about greenhouse gas emissions coming from our dairies and cows. So, a little bit of an introduction is cows that are on our dairies are producing enormous amounts of greenhouse gas emissions. Some of the reasons that they're coming from are liquid manure, which I'll be talking about, versus solid manure. Then also an organic diet, and then also seaweed. In the picture, you can see that we're looking about passing gas right here, and then also burping. And I will go over these numbers in my future slides, but definitely that plays a big part of what these greenhouse gas emissions and this extra methane that is coming from these cows that hopefully we can reduce to help save our planet in the future. Now, livestock is the greatest source of methane. Um, Cows burp, they pass gas. Um, and so, greenhouse gas emissions, if you're not aware, are gaseous compounds in the atmosphere that is capable of absorbing infrared radiation. So that means it's trapping and holding heat in the atmosphere, and it's increasing the heat in the atmosphere. So we want to make sure it's a safe place for this earth is safe for humans and animals to live on, because obviously if it gets too hot, we can only sustain, or we can only live on earth or planet when it comes to only a certain temperature. If it gets boiling hot, then it's going to eliminate any livestock and human life on this earth. So that's why we need to learn how to regulate our climates and global warming. Now, there are studies that state that there's 44% of livestock emissions are in the form of methane, and the other percent is shared by nitrous oxide and carbon dioxide. Okay, and so let me go along to our next slide here. Now, the biggest problems on these dairies are cows. And a few things I'm going to talk about is liquid manure, solid manure, and the liquid manure um, is a liquid manure is actually stored in an anaerobic system, which means without oxygen. So when the manure gets broken down due to not having oxygen, it promotes actually more gas formation in it. So when it's laid out to be used, um, it lets out more methane gas than solid manure. So smaller farms that use solid manure, they actually release less greenhouse gas emissions. So that's really good if you use solid manure. But a lot of these plants use liquid manure. Now, there are about 1 to 1.5 billion cows on this planet. Each cow weighs around 1,300 pounds, which means they have a really big appetite. And just like us, when we eat, gas builds up and that must be released. Cows pass gas and burp a lot, which produces a large amount of methane being introduced into the atmosphere. And 90% of that methane that cows produce is from its mouth. So that previous slide where it had the percentage is just stating that most of the gases come from the mouth and not from the rear. And so cows produce about 30 to 50 gallons of methane per day. So imagine doing the calculations on that. About 1.5 billion cows times 30 to 50 gallons per day. That's an enormous amount of methane just produced from cows on a daily basis. Imagine everything else that contributes to that. So it's a lot. Um, so livestock is responsible for about 14.5% of human greenhouse gas emissions. So livestock is the largest source of methane. This middle picture here is a seaweed farm. Um, there was a study done that seaweed was introduced to the cow's diet, and it actually reduced the methane emissions from the cows as they were burping at 80%, which is an amazing amount that was reduced. So just adding that into their diet can be a huge difference. And on top of that, farmers have um, farmed seaweed as well. And on top of that, they can also generate profit. And there was a study done that there was about $37,000 in profit on a seaweed farm, which is amazing because, you know, you're profitable, but then also you're doing a good thing for the environment. And, you know, you won't have to buy seaweed, you'll have it because you'd be farming it. Um, and also, let's change these cows' diets. Organic. A lot of people are going more organic. And this study, I mean, not this study, you know, when a cow eats organic, that means they're a healthier, their overall quality of their health is increased due to what they're eating, and that would produce a better quality of beef. And that can also be a profitable thing for the farmer because then they can sell the beef for a higher price because it's more of a organic or clean cut. And you know the counter argument. This can include a lot of things. You know, income, expenses of going organic. Some people are going to be like, I don't want to even change what I'm doing. I've been doing this for 30 years. I'm profitable. Why change now? My family's been doing this. This farm has been in our dairy has been in our family for hundreds of years. You know, there's a lot of things that people talk about. So the expenses of going organic, um, you know, the cost of starting up a seaweed farm, the income, is it going to be profitable? Am I going to lose money? You know, no one wants to work for free. Everyone's, you know, trying to make a living. So, and plus, when you've been doing something for so many years and it's working for them, why change? Even though they might not see the harm that they're doing in the long run to the environment. And that could be a big thing. And change is always hard at first. Because once you're in that routine, we never look back saying we wish we, you know, would have never changed if we couldn't make a difference on things. So let's make a difference for generations to come. You know, I think if, you know, some people start changing their process and other farmers see that they're profitable, I think it could be like a chain reaction where they all start to change. And then, you know, and then also California is the state that has the most dairies at about 1.8 million milk cows, and this is almost 20% of the nation's milk production. So if we can start these changes, so let's lead by example and let everyone else follow. And I just want to thank you for watching.